Let me just refrain as I'm dealing with this one. Not to mention any other thing that I still have to, I cannot, but I understand what was happening on that day. Rather leave any other thing that I cannot state, commissioners.
Colonel, so
Okay,
are
you can't state because you're holding back, or because you don't have other examples. You see, you make a statement here that there was interference with your investigation by senior officials. You've given us one example, that's fine. I just want to clarify, you're not giving more because there are not more than one, or what is the reason that you're stopping at just one?
No, it's this one, Commissioner.
It's the only one there is. Okay. Sorry, Ms.
No, Commissioner Baloyi was on the same wavelength as you. Colonel, it seemed from your body language and just what you had said that your reluctance was not that there was just the one incident. It was rather that you don't want to touch on the other incidents.
I think, let me touch on this one only, Commissioners.
No, Colonel, I don't mind you touching on only the one. I'm saying, just to clarify, that you have other examples, but you are not comfortable to deal with them. Is that the case? Chair, to the extent that we are allowed to rely on body language, it seems to me that Colonel is reluctant to answer the question.
So,
Colonel, not to put you in a spot, but it is a serious allegation to make that there was interference in the investigation by senior officials, and you probably have seen with other witnesses that we do probe the role of police officers in matters not being handled in certain ways, which is such a case with Aritin. We're looking at the role of police officers on the scene. You say you speak to your investigation being interfered with. It's for that reason that I'm probing further. And it may be, if you're unable to say, as you're sitting there, that the chairperson may well have to find another way to assist us in presenting whatever it is that the concern that you're expressing in paragraph 25.
Commissioners, it's not only one incident. Things have been happening. Things are happening. I will give an example, Commissioner. At one stage, I was deployed at the airport. I worked at the OR Tambo Airport. At one stage, we were forced to return what we confiscated there back to the owner. I've got reference to that. At one stage we confiscated the dollars at OR Tambo. We sent them to the Reserve Bank as per procedure. We were instructed to give that money because it was falsely, in fact, the presentation there, when they were declaring, they declared something else other than the dollars. But we were instructed to take them back to those who declared. So there are a lot of incidents that were happening So that's what I'm saying. There was interference.
In coming back to this case, is it the kind of interference, and I'm trying to see if it will be of assistance to this discussion, is this the interference in this particular case, the Aritin case that you are expressing a concern about, is it of the kind which, in your view, seeks to undermine the successful prosecution relating to the drugs discovered?
Commissioner, in some instances, some of our seniors or our generals, if I may say it, we can't even understand when they are assisting or they are fixing. Because going back to Aritin and going back to what I've experienced before, then I could safely say there is a lot of interference. I don't know what is pushing them, but the one that I've just indicated, commissioners, have got, I'm still having reference to that. Still have documents to that, which can substantiate it at a later stage if there is a dispute on that.
And with Aritin, are you, and Aritin, I'm now discussing not the 3 police officers and their arrest and their prosecution. I'm focusing on the drugs themselves. Is your view that you're expressing now, and this is me trying to understand what you're saying, that in respect of that drug bust or that haul of drugs, that the role of senior officers as you investigate the matter, you form the view, or you are not certain whether they are assisting you or seeking to frustrate a successful investigation of that matter?
That is what I'm saying.
Okay. Can I follow up with a question which I would have asked right at the end? We've looked at the graphics earlier today, which have people's names who look like they are, well, it suggests, or in fact it shows, that the Alphas, the Nku, Philip Plain and them, and there are customs officials, there's Transnet, all of those role players, crane drivers. Is there a reason, and tell me, maybe I'm assuming, wrongly assuming with my question, but bear with me. Is there a reason that there's not been prosecution of people who are clearly identified in these exchanges, including Mr. Nku, who was at the scene, Aritin scene, and we've seen his involvement on these WhatsApp messages, but he was at the scene, including Chief Mashaba, who, according to these WhatsApp messages, or the 3-ma messages, he seems to be part of they suggest he's part of a scheme. But what we seem to see here clearly is there is an organized, there's organized conduct where containers, vessels seem to be monitored. Not just this one, but generally. There seems to be a scheme. Containers are monitored. The people speak of, Nku and Alpha speak about, we have our guy there, we have our guy there. Is there a reason that there hasn't been any prosecutions of people that have been identified?
I don't understand. I don't know the reason, commissioners, but according to me, people have been identified. There are communication charts. They can be identified through cell phones, or they were identified through cell phones. Screenshots were taken from Transnet in KZN. There was a sort of my investigation towards that. Since then, it has stopped. One can ask questions, why? Then, but I cannot answer. because I'm no longer directly involved in that. We don't know what people were pushing for those people not to be investigated or a follow-up on all those activities.
Yes.
Because they are still there. There is still a trace.
Yes. Now, just drawing from what I have learned through this process, it seems this is a typical case that falls within SANEP, right?
Correct.
It seems that. Who in SANEP makes the decisions about we are going to investigate this, we are allocating an investigator, we are putting resources for this to be investigated, and to be transparent with you, I'm asking really a question of if we want to know from DPCI SANEP why this case where there are identified people but also their activities have been identified, if we want to know why is there no investigation going, or where is the investigation? Has an investigating officer been allocated? Who's doing what? Who do we ask that question of?
Commissioners, in essence, SANEP form part of the section within organized crime investigations. There is a unit commander. In this instance, there was Colonel Zondi. He was never informed about this. That is the person that we are...
You say he was never informed about?
He was not involved in this. You can see a lot of names keep on coming, but there is no unit command. Then we were directly reporting to the unit command, who will in turn report to the provincial command, who in this instance should have been Brigadier Hobella. She was the one who was supposed to be with us on the ground, who, if maybe we are implicated in anything or in any wrongdoing, she would have been the first, then followed us. But I also asked Brigadier Hobella to say, you never played that parental guidance. Why? She said, Sabola, if you are not involving me in your investigation, you jump me, because there is this tendency of information not going through the culture of the SAPS. You will find a sergeant somewhere being accountable to the general, of which is not the case. It is not supposed to be. If I'm at the section commander of SANEP, those who are below me, they account to me. If there is anything, I'm the one to answer. But in real situation, we are not. We are not. Information can jump me from the last man on the ground to the upper structure, of which that is not the culture, commissioners, of the SAPS. That is not what we have been told of, going back to basics. That is not what we are being taught of, the levels of communication and the instructions.
So is your answer that Brigadier Hobella would be the person to account why this case of where drugs are found, and there's this bust, but also there are people identified, and keep in mind, I'm not speaking about your SAPS members, the Pakulas and them. I'm speaking about Mr. Nku. I'm speaking about the alpha person. So I'm speaking about the people that are outside of the SAPS, but also anyone in the SAPS who may be part of that scheme. I'm speaking about Chief Mashaba. I'm speaking about those kind of people, that kind of case. That are you saying to us that Brigadier Hobella is the one that must account or give an explanation why has no investigation and possibly, I know prosecution is a decision of the NPA eventually, but I'm going to throw them in anyway. But starting with the investigation, why has there been no investigation of this matter to bring it to trial, to bring Nku to trial, to bring whoever he's been working with to trial? I think Brigadier Hobella is the person that would account for those decisions.